like here a lot. It would open up for a really strong mid-top flex for the set. They can round out the comp with pretty much whatever they want. Even a Diana mid lane, for example, would be pretty powerful here because of the synergy with Sejuani and this solo AP threat of the Diana with a follow-up to Rakan. That's Ekko.
So Razork apparently has a really strong jungle Ekko. It's one of kind of his pocket picks.
His solo queue
I would assume this Ekko to go jungle unless G2 picks something really weird mid. Or okay. I mean, this Ekko is probably for sure going jungle. That's what I would think.
That also means that it's probably going to be Qiyana for Febiven, but the only thing is then you have a lot of melee champions, but it's going to be some sort of AD mid laner since you have so much magic damage coming out of Razork.
I mean, I would probably look to put the Sett mid in this game, and then look to give a nice counter pick to DanDan in the top lane. Because now Wunder needs to blind pick. I would probably go for the Ornn or maybe Mordekaiser, something like this. I'm a bit curious to see what he'll do if he brings out the Sona.
If he does something like Ornn or Mordekaiser, is there a champion that you think DanDan should gravitate towards?
I'll need to see. Don't lock in the Sona, please. Don't do this. Don't. Why is he doing this to us?
Okay, so we make the joke that Wunder has the 7 wonders of the world, and there's like these 7 signature legacy picks that he has, Sona top being one of them.
And I hate this. Now everyone's gonna start playing it as well.
I thought she got changed in 10.3.
So here's the thing.
Not enough?
It works in top lane as a funnel. What you do is you build the support itemization, and you actually forego farming minions, and you're just trying to stack the support item as quickly as possible by using poke, and then once your jungler completes his jungle item, he actually doesn't have repercussions against farming the top lane. This is how it works in solo queue. We'll see if G2 actually do it. So it's about like a 2v2 the jungle, and Sona's like running down river constantly into Yasuo. So this will be Wunder. Sits in lane, gets gold item, is poking, then Jankos comes and farms his lane, then the two of them use the E, run down river towards PerkZ, and just start chucking things at mid.
Yeah, fantastic. So when he's not playing Soraka or Ambulance, he's whipping out a Sona for us to enjoy. So we'll check that one out, and we've got our draft locked in. It is a crazy storyline, isn't it? You know, you've got this rookie star-studded roster going up against the gods of LEC at this point in time. It does seem like a David versus Goliath story. But my question is, you know, how much do you think Misfits have got a shot in this? You've seen the draft.
Yeah.
You think they've got a shot?
I think they have a good shot, actually. I kind of like the Misfits draft. They kind of going for the game plan that they want to kind of, not chill, you know, but they want to play a slow early game, and they want to let the Azir scale up. I think if Misfits can do that, they have a shot to win.
Okay, keep our eye on the Azir. You can see Caps on your screen, his eyes fixed to his. We are going to be jumping into this one. It's time for us to work it all out, put the pieces together. The G2 fans are here, and they're here en masse to witness. Will this be the 7th? Will G2 continue to be undefeated? We're going to see if this win streak does continue right here, right now, as Misfits and G2 hit the rift.
Well, they will hit the rift in just a second's time machine. You build up all the expectation and the hype, but we have a pause just coming out to start us off. Now, before we get into game, before we get into champion discussion, Vedius, I do want to bring up something PerkZ said on stream yesterday about Razork on Ekko.
Oh, yeah?
So Razork has an 80% win rate on Ekko in solo queue.
That's quite high.
PerkZ was playing support Nautilus against it yesterday, and he got demolished.
Right.
And PerkZ actually said he always smurfs on Ekko jungle. I hope he doesn't smurf on it against us tomorrow on stage. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited. So it's funny because Ekko jungle got nerfed specifically on this patch where his damage to monsters is now slightly lower than it was before. So his clear speed is a little bit weaker, but I don't think it removed him as a jungler. It just made it a little bit weaker.
We are going to get on into the game in just a moment's time, I believe. And Vedius gave me a weird hand signal there, but nothing's actually happened. What was that hand signal for?
I got a ping saying, like, get rid of the toss. And I was like, okay, medic, toss.
Okay, well, you didn't verbalize any of those, and I can only read you so well. We got there in the end, Vedius.
Yes,
handed it off, and now we take back the reins. Now, Vedi, we didn't get to talk that much through pick and ban. You were concentrating on what Finn and the English
It doesn't matter. Let's just talk about the Sona, because that's all anybody cares about. So, I think, well, this is definitely the first time we've seen it in Europe. I'm not sure if this is the first time we've seen it globally. I don't think it's been picked in LCS or LCK as of yet. But this has definitely been a thing that has been around in solo queue a lot. And we can already see Wunder off to a great start as he already gets himself 2 very quick stacks off of his support item. And you will have heard Frost talking about it on the analyst desk. You don't really farm on Sona top. You basically just want to stack your passive. You will take the odd last hit here and there. You might kill a cannon minion. You might like just take the odd farm. But basically you just want to stack up your passive as quickly as possible. You'll also see an early Kershey's shard, which is one of the components for making things like Static Shiv, but the main reason why you do it is because of the changes that happen to Sona's E, where she gets much more bonus movement speed to herself. It's extremely easy to stack, and it gives you really effective poke in lane. So it's a very cheap item, it works extremely well and synergizes very well with Sona, and basically once she's got that item, she doesn't play top lane anymore. She leaves. Now I am surprised by Wunder's rune choice, and Summoner Spell choice, because in solo queue, he often does Dark Harvest, and he often runs Ignite. So he's choosing to run the Teleport this time around, which does surprise me, because again, I don't expect him to actually be playing much in the top lane, but you can see Wunder looking to build up those stacks. He's going to keep harassing, and it's super obnoxious, especially for a Sett, because there's little he can do to close the gap, especially at early levels. So you just kind of have to sit back, you take the farm. You can see how Wunder, he takes a couple of the last hits, but he's not taking all of them. His focus is on just harassing and landing that poke.
You want to stay below, of course, that cutoff, the excessive minion kills that you have on the support item. Wunder will now have his W, I assume, the the aria of Perseverance, my mistake, and will continue to harass. PerkZ on his trademark Yasuo in the mid lane, losing out a trade against Febiven.
Yeah, so this matchup is super rough for the Yasuo. You can see that every time you try to go in and trade, initially it might seem quite good for the Yasuo, but a really confident Azir player will appreciate that, hey, every time he tries to close the gap, I throw a soldier up, I auto him, and then as he's dashing away, you follow with your Q, which means that you then apply a slow and you can land another auto. So sometimes you'll see on Yasuo's Hail of Blades where they try to go in, go those 3 auto attacks and then dash out. Against an Azir, that's not as effective, which is why you're seeing the fleet footwork to offer a little bit more sustain. And he's also started with the Doran Shield to help mitigate a lot of the poke that often comes out from this Azir matchup as well. So I like the itemization choices from PerkZ, but you'll see him get bullied around a lot, and you expect him to fall a little bit behind in the farm department as well.
You see Jankos and PerkZ trying to get control of the vision around this mid lane. Ward up towards the Razorbeaks, Ward down here, spotting out Razork. Now, Misfits did ping this Ward, so that they know it's there. Razork will understand he's on vision, but happy just to trade Scuttle Crab top and bot right now.
Just going to clear that one out. Here, Razork has done a largely full clear, as you mentioned, without doing the grump as well. We see a bit of a trade in the bot side.
The root didn't quite connect down to Caps. It could have spelt his demise if it did. Now here comes Razork coming down towards the bottom lane. There's a wave pushing in. It's only 5 minions strong. 4 now as Caps takes out 1. And we'll see.
I don't think he's actually going to go for this dive. I think the minion wave is too thin. And normally, when junglers are looking for a dive, they'll actually catch the wave before it hits the tower, so that the minion wave is much closer to the tower, and you kind of threaten what is going to happen in advance.
I really like this from G2 though. Mickey and Caps realizing the wave's going to push into our tower anyway. We can come back and get the farm. Let's keep these Krugs alive for Jankos, who's on his way down. Parallel conversions coming out. Caps locked up, but is able to flash away, and now Bvoy flashing forward, but Jankos is here in time, trying to turn this one around. Denyk flashes with the ignite. Bvoy's got a ball. The TP coming in, but it's 1-for-1 in the bottom lane. TP cancelled. Wunder not able to get there in time because a great base breaker comes out. Now Razork's trying to trade back into this, but the concussive blows are just going to lock him in place. Denyk unable to do anything about it, and now he's going to be next on the menu. Concussive blows, 1 more auto needed. Jankos flashes forward, there it goes. Denyk will have the W up in just a second's time, but it's not here now, and that's 3 kills to G2.
And Jankos was able to respond because he saw what Razork was up to. He was spotted out on the Krugs, and that meant Jankos was like, okay, my bot lane could be in danger. I've got to start pathing down to try and offer some assistance. And again, look at the minimap. You can see the pings, the blue pings coming out from G2 highlighting, hey, we think that Razork is around the bot side of the map. Can we please get some assistance? And here comes Jankos. I think Misfits just overcommitted to this play. They could not make that initial dive happen, but they tried to make it happen anyway, and this is where they they overcommit. And while they do get that initial kill onto Caps, they ultimately lose 3 people, but Razork isn't done yet.
He's all over the map already. Wunder flashes away. DanDan hits the haymaker. And Wunder goes bye-bye. Misfits, 2 kills on the board early on. Still behind, of course, because of that third kill down towards the bottom lane. But Razork's already showing us why you need to fear his Ekko.
This is one of the great things that I love to see when playing against a Sona top. Just camp that champ. This Sona is so squishy. Her base HP right now, let me tell you what it is. Her base HP is 731.
I believe
it is
lowest
so
in the game
low.
to start with,
It's
right?
very, very... I think Yuumi may be the only other one, but she only has 32 magic resistance this early on, which means that it's very easy for the Ekko to get a lot of damage out, but she's just super squishy, very immobile.
Oh, Caps! No, this isn't good. This isn't good at all for Caps. Misfits, what were you doing, Caps?
Yeah.
Just stepped way too far forward. Is correct, Vedius.
That's a question mark ping right there. We'll have a look at the replay, see exactly what happens as PerkZ goes for a bit of a cheeky trade in mid lane. Yeah, I'm surprised by the amount of action that we're... why am I surprised? It's G2 games. What am I talking about? I love the proactivity that we're seeing from Misfits. They're trying to go toe-to-toe with G2 in the early game. They're trying to play around where they have pressure. They attack the bot lane, they're attacking the top lane, and they're finding kills. They currently sit with a small early game gold lead, and they're looking pretty good. Caps, so he tries to play defensively, he goes for a bit of a trade against Denyk. Of course, Denyk hasn't used his W yet, and Caps just takes one step too far. He should have just forced Denyk back, and then that should have been the end of it, stand underneath his tower, but he oversteps, loses his life, and now he's sitting at 2 deaths and 20 CS behind Bvoy.
Yeah, he's 600 gold behind in that lane right now.
Yes.
That Xayah is going to be incredibly strong, and the power of Xayah Rakan could keep this snowball rolling for Misfits.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about for Misfits is that their laners, actually the split, have not been that strong. Febiven has been pretty reliable, but when you look at top lane and bot lane, they've actually averaged a minus 15.8 CSD. Both of them.
Yeah.
They often fall behind in lane, and you have to say, okay, sure, Razork, he usually plays around the mid lane. The bot and top don't get that much investment. The bot lane also often plays more defensive bot matchups. But now that we see Razork not investing in the mid lane, investing towards the side lanes, and you're also playing against the Sona top lane, they're going to be able to remedy those CSD stats very quickly, but so far they've had a great early laning phase, and it's kind of been up to Jankos to try and rectify and save the situation.
Facial Fissure used in the bottom lane, the root's going to come out, but here comes Razork. Bvoy almost dead, but Caps oversteps once again, and the chase is on. Misfits with another kill. Caps is 3 down already in this lane. Jankos not even on the right side of the map to do anything about it.
And this was a situation where G2 thought that Bvoy and Denyk had misstepped. They had overstayed their welcome, and G2 could get a good punish. But you need to appreciate the fact that Jankos is on the top side of the map. You don't have full information on where Razork could be. You can actually see that his blue buff is up right now, but it depends on whether G2 can get that deep jungle information. But either way, it ends up being Caps losing his life, still not level 6 yet.
Oh, Febiven's going to push PerkZ underneath the turret here. Jankos on his way, 2 turret shots into the back of the Yasuo, but Jankos coming in. Febi still has the heal, still has the flash. Very safe underneath that turret.
PerkZ playing this matchup extremely well. Knows he does have the jungle assistance as well, but notice that he actually has a small CS advantage. As the levels get higher and the sustain he has on his fleet footwork, he's feeling a lot more comfortable in this matchup. Let's see if Caps oversteps once again.
Have you learnt your lesson, Caps? That's the question.
I mean, the expectation is that this duo has reset. It's
Denyk
not unreasonable to think that the...
Denyk goes in, the charm comes out, and Caps goes down once again. Bvoy 2-1 and 2. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jankos gets the kill. PerkZ, one more turret shot. It's enough, but the tower takes him down. Febi not able to get an auto attack in. Razork tries to get a bit of dessert on the top of that fight, but unable to find too much. Now, Wunder has roamed down. The River Sona on its way. Mickey there as well. Razork pops back with the chrono break, but Mickey tanking up the tower. There's the crescendo, and Razork. Parallel convergence is enough to save him with the TP coming in. Razork survives, and DanDan is there just to act as a bouncer for the turret.
Ooh, okay, but Misfits sitting with the gold lead. Jankos, congratulations on getting 2,500 LEC assists. That's a lot of assists.
It is a lot of assists. So I'm actually going to say he's at 2,499. I'm sorry, guys.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I didn't cue the graphic myself, and we thought he had an assist off that kill, but he actually got the kill. And so he is still 1 assist short of 2,499.
Guys, we're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
Sorry, guys.
He's at 2,499, but now you all have something to look forward to.
I did miss Mickey's 2,001st assist.
Denyk!
Sorry. We missed his 2000s last week. We forgot that it happened.
You had one job, Medic. A lot of assists have been gained by the G2 team. We don't have time, fight top lane.
Yeah, DanDan flashing in. Razork, look at where the power converges.
Oh!
Dunk him into the baby cage and then take the kill. Just camp that champ, Vedius.
Camp that champ. And Wunder not having the impact that we often see from Sonas. Oh, here's the ult.
PerkZ with the knock-up. Jankos there as well. Great disengage by Bvoy. Had to burn his flash. Meanwhile, in the top lane, DanDan hitting turrets, getting plates, getting gold.
I mean, right now, G2 are just being bullied across the map. The 2v2 is just straight up losing. Admittedly, a lot of influence has come off the back of Razork, but he has been all over the map right now. It's not like Jankos is slacking, right? This guy is not... he's doing what he can, but the amount of times Caps has just died in the 2v2 in the bot side of the map, the amount of times that DanDan has been able to shut down Wunder. Normally, we see the Sona roaming around way more. Normally, she's just abandoning that lane. She's going mid. She's going bot. You can see the Kushi shot has been complete, and this is where you really start to see her just get involved with the rest of the map. But Wunder's really just stayed focused in the top lane, and we haven't seen that same level of roaming that we normally expect from the Sona.
And even with the Rift Herald used here, PerkZ will be second on the play to take down the turret. In the mid lane, looks like they're going in. Oh, the great knockback there from Febiven. Caps caught out once again. Mykix tanking at the tower. Wunder on his way. Will be able to force Febi back. And Misfits, 1,000 gold ahead at the 12-minute mark here, Vedius, against G2 no less. Now G2,
I was going to say that
in early games.
That happens a lot.
They have some in early games. Caps has got 5 deaths already.
He has 5 deaths. This is the first Craps we've seen all season, to be fair. I mean, many people were wondering, you know, hey, maybe he's got the int out of him. You know, ever since he's become an AD carry, he's become a lot more consistent. I think we can safely say this is his first bad game on AD carry that we've seen from him.
I mean, he's died 8 times across the course of the rest of the split. And he's died 5 times in this game.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. They happen. I think the people that are making up the stack right now is PerkZ and Jankos. This duo...
Oh, there we go, Jankos. But Bvoy able to survive. Bvoy might even get out of this alive. They get one. PerkZ trying to get the kill. Bvoy will fall, and that is Jankos' 2,500th assist. So here comes the crescendo off towards the side. Congratulations, Jankos. Good stuff for you. DanDan's fighting off towards the top side of this. And so far, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of G2. But Febi's here now, trying to trade in, has to flash away. And bring down that graphic as the concussive blows comes out. Mickey, great glacial fissure across the wall, and G2 have turned this. DanDan caught out as well, pulls the haymaker, but can't even take down. Oh, it can get Caps just in the end. Razork comes back off from the side, but that was a great fight for G2.
And all of a sudden, G2 are back in the game.
Yeah.
A single fight and the game flips on its head. They were at a 1.4k gold deficit. They now have the gold lead. A lot of shutdowns were, of course, picked up in favor of G2. And Caps, he was actually very aggressive in that fight. He flashed in. He was dealing a lot of damage. He couldn't find any kills, though. He was getting a bunch of assists. He was assisting his team, that's for sure, but he was not getting the gold. A lot of that went into the back pocket of PerkZ. When we get a look back at how the fight played out, you can see that it was a situation where I think Misfits, the setting looked good, but then I think they overcommitted to the fight. And because they overcommitted, that allowed G2 to be able to turn things around. And in these prolonged fights, that's why Sona can be really obnoxious. So let's have a look back. You can see that Jankos and PerkZ, they think they've called out Bvoy. They think that he, you know, they can get that kill. But of course, Misfits are lying in wait in the Dragon Pit. Really good stun kills. Jankos, we see a quick wind wall here come out to try and mitigate some of the damage, but it doesn't really help. We don't have time. We have another fight.
Febi's getting dived in the top lane. PerkZ doing what he can, but Febi able to survive for the moment. He's going to take down PerkZ. He dodges out the barrel as well, and Jankos...
That's a double!
It's Febi couldn't survive. Jankos goes in, flashes out, he gets in. Well played, Jankos.
All right, Jankos is the Smurf this game. Jankos is doing everything he can to carry G2 because there are a lot of misplays on the side of G2 right now. That dive did not go the way they wanted. Props to Febiven. He had some great outplays. Now the dive.
Oh, poor baby Caps. He gets taken out again. And Misfits, you can just jump back with a chrono break. You can just disengage with the Rakan. And Caps, he's currently 1,500 gold behind in that lane. You have an Essence Reaver complete on either side, but Bvoy going to be able to go back and start building up that item advantage.
I love the aggression that we're seeing from Misfits. I feel like a lot of it's coming from Razork, and I don't know if it's insulting to say it almost feels like that he's treating this like a solo queue game, you know? It feels like that he's not putting it sounds rude, but he's not putting a huge amount of thought into a lot of it. He's just like, okay, I see a gank here, I see a gank here. You know, he's kind of relying on his instincts, and he's making so many successful plays happen. 3-1 and 3 right now. The man has found so many successful plays. He's helped Misfits get back into the gold lead, and you can see why this is a comfort pick for him, really knowing his limits and mitigating a lot of the aggression that G2 is trying to force.
Right now at the 16-minute mark, Misfits have a 1,000 gold lead. They have been a little bit more methodical over the last 2 weeks. I compared some of their stats from week 1 to week 3, and they just slowed down the game in the early game on average, which is why I was very surprised to see them come out of the gate swinging just this much. Wunder has joined up with the rest of G2 in this mid lane. It's a 5-man stack for them. Razork and Febiven are going to take this Rift Herald.
Yeah, G2 trying to trade it for pressure in the mid lane. You can see a huge amount of farm just being lost in the top lane. Wunder not going to be picking that up anytime soon. He's got to be very careful pathing that way through the jungle, as he could be in danger. Mickey now. He has the shield, so he's going to be able to get out of that one. Misfits has 5 members. They're going to siege on mid. They also have the Rift Herald, but I don't think they need it. They can just take this tower and then maybe even use the Rift Herald to go even further if they want to.
Is in. Mickey has to flash away. And they dash back out. New Shirelli is so good on Rakan. I say new, relatively new. Able to get in and out of these fights pretty quickly. PerkZ is off in a side lane by himself. Wunder is as well. Waiting in the bush. Razork. Wunder dodging around. Yeah, you don't win these, I'm afraid. Crescendo not even going to stop the damage coming through.
Razork finds another kill.
Yeah.
Level 11 now. He has that level advantage over Jankos, and Misfits not slowing down. They're grouped up in the top lane. Yasuo being forced to back to try and catch this wave, but you have to give props to Misfits, you know? I've definitely been someone that's been critical of their play, been willing to give them the full acknowledgement. Like, you don't go on a 4-game winning streak playing poorly, right? They've definitely been very solid, but I think I've looked at them as a team that has just been solid, you know? A team that showcases strong fundamentals, good play, strong team fighting, and a lot of it comes off the back of Febiven. But in this game, we're seeing Bvoy and Denyk and Razork, you know, the players that are new to the LEC stage really stepping up against G2 and not holding anything back.
Yeah.
They've been finding a lot of great picks, they've been going toe-to-toe, and they sit with the gold lead. The challenging part comes from holding on to this lead. G2 is not a team that bends over and just dies once you start getting aggressive, because they will fight back, and now we get to see if Misfits can handle that pressure.
Well, if this game is anything to go by, Caps does sometimes die.
Oh, he does.
When you put a bit of pressure
Definitely
onto
does.
him. And we'll see. It looks like Misfits are trying to make a play down towards this bottom side, but there's no one there for them. It's a 2,500 gold lead for Misfits. G2 do have some scaling. We talk about the Sona in late game fights. Yasuo, of course, scales incredibly well. And Aphelios, if you can get some items on him, will do pretty well as well. So if they can get to some of these mid-game fights, they're not out of it by any shape of the game.
PerkZ is extremely strong right now, and if our observers could quickly flip over to the gold, you can see that it's quite an interesting spread. Notice that DanDan has significantly more gold than Wunder, somewhat as you'd expect, but a lot of the gold advantage actually comes from PerkZ, as they're now looking for a kill onto DanDan. They're going to force him to flash, but they're not going to let him escape.
Flash forced by the Song of Celerity, but here comes Jankos. Knocks DanDan back, the last breath coming in as well. DanDan uses Showstopper, looking for the Grit Shield, but can't quite find it. PerkZ able to escape. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they're looking for the Glacial Fissure on Febi. Sentry goes down, it's taken out by the top. In the bottom lane, though, this is what Misfits are doing. They're playing the opposite side of the map. PerkZ, no TP. Wunder has one, but he's going to go back to base. Inhibitor Tower was not broken by Misfits. They didn't want to go any further, but they're looking to catch out Caps and Mickey. Razork trading in here, has the power of convergence, jumps back with the chrono break. Caps trying to get away, but he can't just about get out. The exhaust on Razork will not be enough. PerkZ stayed in the top lane to take the tower, and now Wunder playing this roaming Sona, tries to do something. Bvoy almost pulls back the feathers through him. Misfits will turn to their second dragon of the game. It's a Mountain Drake, and they should secure that pretty easily.
The bloodshed is not slowing down.
23 kills in 20 minutes, baby.
Yeah, we're LPL right now, ladies and gentlemen. Misfits, though, 5 towers to 2. G2 were able to finally break another outer tower in the top lane, but that's another thing we have to acknowledge. This siege not the strongest. Of course, given the fact that Aphelios is so weak right now is a large part of that. Usually this champion can contribute a lot when it comes to sieging those towers, but 0 and 8 hasn't even upgraded his boots yet. He's been put very far behind, and a lot of the weight and responsibility is kind of falling on PerkZ, but you can't underestimate the Sona. The Lich Bane now completed. Sork boots as well. This champion very fast and does a surprising amount of damage. Very little magic resistance has actually been completed for Misfits, and you'll notice that Merc Treads, while being useful, will not be enough to mitigate a lot of the damage that will come out of this champion alongside the Gragas that's also going full AP. Yes, the Morellonomicon rush, very debatable. Chakras did release a great video on talking about its efficiencies. I imagine the main reason why he's doing it is to mitigate the healing on Razork, but let's see if they go for this pick.
Oh, great! Featherstone gets him out. That was perfect from Bvoy. He escapes the first bite of the fight, and G2, they thought they'd caught Misfits, but Bvoy with a split-second decision to pop his ult means that Misfits get to turn to the Baron, and this is what we were talking about, Vedius, the ability to keep that gold lead, to then snowball it, finding a fight like that, although it was on G2's terms, turning it around. Misfits now well in the lead in this game.
Yeah, I can't hype up Razork enough. This man is playing so well right now. Good ultimate from Bvoy. You can see that his spidey senses are tingling a little bit, and he was definitely ready, but he's able to dodge that one out. Jankos tries to E to get the knockup still, but it's too little, too late. DanDan with a great ultimate to help use Jankos to close the gap onto the Yasuo, and you can see the frustration on his face. Jankos has tried hard to carry this game, but that play was not enough, and now Misfits sit with the Baron. 4K, nearly 5K gold is their advantage.
Mickey, that's all right. Gets out with the Unbreakable. But I do want to talk a little bit about next steps, because we haven't really broken out how Misfits will now push with this Baron. Are we looking at a 1-4? Are we looking at a 1-3-1 for that?
I mean, you would imagine that they would go for a 1-4. Utilizing the Ekko to try and look for picks alongside the Rakan. Very high mobility champions that can really take advantage of the fact that they are so strong right now. Level 13 for Razork. He matches the level of PerkZ. He is so strong. Looks like he's also going towards the Nash's tooth. Here we go.
They don't go for it. They don't go for it. I was very excited there for a second. Denyk actually going down towards the bottom lane by himself, because he knows he can jump out of the fight if needed, just to buff up these minions, just to put the pressure on
Kind of playing like that that pike that you often see in a side lane. Razork staying nearby to offer that extra bit of mobility.
Misfits seem settled just to get the mid lane turret for now. It will fall very quickly. Bvoy and Febi can push it in. Now G2, last legs. Their undefeated streak perhaps going to be broken by Misfits' consecutive win streak. Of course, Misfits have won their last 4 games in a row.
Yep.
Only bested in the league by G2, who are sitting at 6, of course. Here we go. Misfits down towards the bottom lane, looking to break open the base of G2. Only 23 minutes into this game. It's still early doors for both these teams. Sett in the mid lane. DanDan trying to split up G2 if he can. He's had a pretty strong performance on this set so far. Wunder heals up with the Aria of Perseverance, but you feel that he's going to be burst through pretty quickly. That Sona so squishy, so fragile when caught out. And this is where you say something, Vedius.
Well, I'm kind of looking at the state of the map right now, and you can see they have to dive to force the tower.
Oh, you can say something still. The Glacial Fish are coming out as Razork unable to take caps. He goes golden.
And this is the problem. I think the siege from Misfits, it's a little challenging because they kind of have to play through 2 lanes, and you can see that the wave clear from G2 is actually quite strong because they can use the wind wall to mitigate a lot of the pushing power on one lane, and then they have the AD carry plus the Gragas plus the Sona all just helping to hold the line. So Misfits, they do take a couple towers, but they don't actually break the base yet. And that's what I was about to say. I think they have to try and force a dive if they really want to make or want to take the tower down, and we saw it from Razork, and at the very least he got the exhaust out from Mickey, which is great, because now that's not going to be available for the next fight. No heal on Caps as well, so Razork should be able to just solo kill Caps now. There's very little that he's going to do to stop him, and Denyk can just jump on top of him as well, because the Braum is not going to be able to do a huge amount when mitigating that engage that comes out from the Rakan.
You can see how far Caps has fallen behind here. Only Wunder and the supports underneath him. Of course, Wunder's playing this Sona, is expected not to get a huge amount of gold, but is about 3,000 behind Dan.
Yeah, but it's important to, as you rightly said, because he is playing a support champ, and once he gets death cap, that gold difference is probably a little, it doesn't really tell the whole story of how strong the Sona actually is. So I would say that G2 definitely weaker, 100%. You can see that very clearly in the AD carry difference. But I would say that if G2 can hold out long enough, I'm a little scared of how strong this Sona can be and how much damage she can output. Her ultimate is a very effective either engage tool or follow-up tool. But it looks like Misfits may have found G2.
Looking for Jankos. PerkZ going in with a knock, but here comes the quickness, and DanDan's on his way. Looking for that base breaker, pulls them both back in as they were both trying to escape. The showstopper cleansed away, but he can't do much as Bvoy chasing onto Wunder. Mickey there, Crescendo comes out, but it's just the disengaged tool. Misfits once again catch out G2, and maybe we'll look just to break this mid lane in here.
I mean, yeah, that's 30-second death timers on both Jankos and PerkZ. Febiven sets up the tower. The wind wall is no longer available. Cap's doing what he can to wave clear, but I don't know if this is going to be enough to stop Misfits siege.
G2 will be thankful that Caps has Infernum to wave clear quickly, but still the inhibitor tower falls, and now Misfits knocking on a momentous win for them. Taking down a team like G2 even. I mean, I was going to say even with Sona top, but Sona top's viable. Sona top is a strategy.
They have played well.
Yeah.
You know, they punished the Sona top. They shut down the bot lane. They have, I mean, so much credit has to go to Razork on his Ekko. You talked about it being a signature pick. You talked about how PerkZ was a guy that was afraid of it. And we get to see why. 7, 1, and 4 on this pick. But they know exactly what G2's trying to do. That G2 think that because they have push top, they can make this collapse down, but they don't have any control over mid, which means that it's easy for Misfits to find this collapse. Really good stun coming in from DanDan. He uses the ult. Yes, PerkZ tries to QSS out of it, but it's too little too late. And then, of course, Mickey and Wunder tried to come and help and save them, but they can't do anything. The damage is already done. Misfits, they have too much damage. They have so much gold. G2's best bet is to try and win a fight around Baron, but you just look at the levels and you can really see the difference. The itemization as well. Nash's Tooth now completed for Ekko. This is not normally what I see on Ekko jungles. Things like the Lich Bane, sometimes we see things like the early Oblivion Orb for that extra damage, but synergizing with his passive, I think makes a lot of sense, and the damage speaks for itself, right? I mean, the man has been extremely influential.
We're getting to a point where you have to think, is this Ekko a must ban against Misfits now?
Yeah, that's the debate.
Razork has had an absolutely stellar performance, most damage in the game on it. And for a
They're just going to melt through this Baron.
For a rookie in the LEC in 2020, he's making a name for himself. We heard PerkZ in the Match of the Week's video saying, if I can take down Reckless, I should be rookie of the split. Well, Razork's currently taking down all of G2. Not single-handedly, but he's definitely been the most key contributing factor here for Misfits. 8,000 gold lead with the Baron.
We talked about him at the beginning of the day. Definitely a rookie to watch, and he seems to have only gotten better week on week, and this has definitely been his best performance as of yet. Level 15 on the Ekko, extremely powerful. Misfits with the Baron now looking to siege.
That's the damage you talked about, though. Bvoy down to half HP from one Lich Bane proc. I think it was the Hymn of Valor.
Look at this from DanDan. He's pushing in the mid lane. He wants to make these super minions an extra point of pressure, but now Razork going to take over that responsibility as DanDan moves towards the bot. Misfits trying to play through all 3 lanes right now, so that G2 is forced to separate their wave clear as much as possible.
The thing about this is you're trying to get those waves crashing at the same time if possible. Top is a little bit ahead of bot lane, but looks like DanDan's going to try and force that wave as quickly as he can. Now Jankos on the flank. Razork will have the chrono break, will be able to dodge back, or can just jump across the wall, and that was wasted. Jankos got nothing out of that. Now they're looking for the inhib in bot and top. There's the Glacial Fisher, Caps from the side, tries to land the Moonlight Vigil, only hits on Denyk. Meanwhile in the bottom lane, DanDan has already taken the inhibitor tower, now looking for the inhib. PerkZ with the Steel Tempest, only lands on Denyk's, not going to do too much. Razork's in the base as well, just acting as a decoy, as a distraction for G2, as Misfits break through the inhibitor line. 2 inhibs down now for G2. 1 more to follow, as Misfits are looking to take down the undefeated. Razork there with the parallel convergence. Febi going forward, but here comes the damage. Wunder forced away, already 1 down as Caps falls for what seems like their 100th time this game. The chase is on. Misfits have taken 3. They're just wiping G2 away. This is what G2 do to other teams, and Misfits have given them a taste of their own medicine. Razork jumping in. PerkZ takes them out in the 1v1, but DanDan's there to follow up and mop up the kills. Misfits, 22 kills to 11, under 30 minutes, with a 11,000 gold lead, have defeated G2. They are the first team to beat G2 in 2020.
The undefeated streak comes to an end. It often happens with G2. Whenever we get to 6-0, the conversation around the 18-0, we always talk about it. And then there's always one team in Europe that makes the upset a reality, and it was Misfits. People were not expecting this. I definitely was not expecting this, but so much of the praise has to go to Razork. This man played so well on his signature champion, showcasing that the small nerfs did not matter. The frustration on the face of Grabs, clearly not happy with that game, and Caps' worst performance of the split, I think it's fair to say.
Well, he got more deaths in this game than he has for the rest of the split.
Yes.
So it definitely wasn't his best. Do want to praise Bvoy as well. I think in that bottom lane, Razork, of course, had influences, but he had an exceptional performance, able to continuously capitalize alongside Denyk on Caps over-positioning, overstepping. You saw them just getting kill after kill after kill.
We're seeing a sort of another rogue storyline from last split, you know? A lot of the young players coming onto this roster and having a really big impact.
Yep.
And of course, you guys at home do get to vote for who you think had the biggest impact. DanDan in top lane, Razork in the jungle, Bvoy in bot lane. You have to head over to the @LEC Twitter to make your suggestions. I personally think you should vote for Razork. We've been saying Razork differently all throughout the game.
Razor K.
Razor K.
Cut them up.
The Ekko main. Yep. This man, he smurfed on G2. Really impressive performance, and now you really have to really bring Misfits into that conversation of top 3. What is this team capable of? They've literally only gotten better each week.
Yeah.
And you can say what you want about G2's draft. You can say, oh, they only ran Sona top. Like, you don't get to excuse G2 for dying bot lane.
Yeah.
You don't get to excuse G2 for some of the plays that they made in the mid game. Misfits played clean, they played aggressive, and it was a lot of fun to watch. This team is only getting better, and they're going to be challenging the Fnatic. I mean, they've already beaten Origin. They've now beaten G2.
They've beaten XL. They lost to Rogue in week 1.
Yes.
They lost to Fnatic.
So, yes, so they have already lost to Fnatic. So now they're looking for that rematch against Fnatic, and they're looking like a scary team.
They really are. I mean, they're tied second place right now, and beating G2 is always good for the head-to-head when it comes to playoffs later on as well. Those wins